Hello fellow book nerds, I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to talk about what I'm going to read next month in March. To preface, it is often middle grade March, and I know people like to read middle grade for that, as the name suggests. I'm officially not taking part, but I'm already reading one book that does count for multiple prompts, so I decided to add another one to finish them off. Now, I do have to say, I'm not quite sure if they are considered middle grade. They're both classics, and they both strike me as not exactly adult, so I'm kind of counting them. So if they don't count, whatever. So I am going to start with my yearly challenges, I guess, because that's the majority of these books. So I'm going to start with the Cozy Reading Challenge that Teresa from Creatively Faithful is doing, and I'm going in order of how it looks. It doesn't really matter, but the next one in like the list sort of thing is TBR book stack, and that's basically to pick a book from the TBR. So I'm going to show you my TBR. So here it is. This is all I've got, and if you can see there's also my Kindle. So yeah, there is that. I don't really know which one I'm going to pick yet. So yeah, so what I'm going to do for the TBR book stack from Teresa's challenge, I am basically just going to pick a random one at some point next month and use it for that prompt. So I don't know that one, not yet. So the next challenge that I'm going to talk about is the Princess Readathon. That is by Katie from Paperbacks and Ponytails. And again, this one can be any prompt and can sort of, I guess, be more than one in a month, because she's done more than 12 prompts. So it's not one a month or anything. So I think okay, so I'm not quite sure on all of the prompts, but one prompt that I will definitely be doing and finishing is Inigo Montoya, which is finish a series, and that will be this book, Joe's Boys. This is by Louisa May Alcott. Joe's Boys is the fourth and final book in the Little Women series, so that finishes that one. I don't know about any others yet. There may be a borrowed book, because I'm reading a lot of Kindle Unlimited, or at least I'm trying to, so I can always do that one. Or I could even do an ebook because of the Kindle Unlimited thing. And also just in general, because I will also be reading an ebook for a different prompt, but we'll come to that. So there's certainly a few that I could do next month for Katie's one. The next challenge that I'm talking about is the Journey Through Time one by Alma from Alma's Book Journey. And she's got two. She's got centuries and decades. So for the centuries, next month is the 19th century. And I think, which one did I pick for the 19th century? Okay, so the centuries one that I'm doing is set in that century. So the century we're going for is the 19th century, and that is about the 1800s. So I decided to pick A Match in the Making by Jen Tuano. This is actually book 1 in the Matchmakers series, I think it's called. Oh yeah, there you go, the Matchmakers book 1. And I've been really wanting to read this. And this is also Christian fiction, so it'll be interesting to see how much faith content is in this. I've not read any of her books, so I'm excited to try it. The next book that she's doing is Decades, or well, not book, next prompt, and the decade for March is the 1930s, and this one is the one I'm doing my Kindle for, and that is Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, because this was published in the 1930s. I had to have a look on Goodreads because I wasn't sure, and I wanted to preferably get a free book from Kindle Unlimited, but I couldn't find any in the ones that piqued my interest on Goodreads. So I just picked for the cheapest one, and that was Rebecca, and well, not the cheapest one, but one of the cheapest ones, because this was under £1. I think it was either 70 odd p or it was 40 odd p or something, I can't remember. Less than £1, so really cheap. So I picked this for Alma's Decades prompt. Okay, the next one is the Read a Bookshelf Challenge by Chantel, and for March the prompt is time. Now, I may have done a couple of prompts for this, a couple of books for this, but one of them is also for a different challenge. So the one that I'm mainly going to use for Chantel's readathon is The Ministry of Time. This is by Colleen Bradley. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But they're all his. I assume it's a woman. But yeah, this came out reasonably recently-ish. Past year or something, 2 years. Right, yeah. 2024. So yeah, I picked this one for time because obviously time is in the title, and it's about time travel of some sort. So it should be interesting. It's got quite cool book, not bookends, but end pages. It's got a picture, which is interesting. So yeah, I think it's kind of a mix of some sort of science fiction-y fantasy type thing and historical because of the time travel thing. So yeah, that should be interesting. So that is the one that I'm mainly going to use. But another one, which I'm using for a different prompt, but you get a sneaky peek. Yeah, all you fans know exactly what that book is. So, that is the Read a Bookshelf Challenge, The Ministry of Time. So, the next challenge is the Read Christian Romance Challenge by Osina. And these prompts, there's 12 of them, but you don't have to go in order, they're not for specific months. So, the book that I'm going to be doing is... Oh no. Right, yeah, I did for that one. There's a few I could use it for, to be honest. I don't know which one to use it for, there's a few. Okay, I'm going to use this book. I'm going to show you the book properly. There's a cat. What's over you? Oh, you want to come in here? Come on then. Come join join me in my humble abode. I know, I'm sorry I had the door shut. Come on then, you join us. Can they see you? They can't see you. Let's see. There she is. There's my cat. I know. There you go, my love. He's a good girl, huh? Right. I need space to sit down. Can't really see her, but you might be able to sort of see her little tail. Probably means you're not going to be able to see her if she lies down. But there we go. You can, however, see items of clothing. There she is. Alright. So the next book that I'm going to talk about, kind of, is When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer. Yes. I bet all you Timeless fans are very excited. I'm officially going to try and read it next month. For the very few of you who don't know what this is book 1 in the Timeless series, and this is very popular at the moment. So this is about a family who, and I think it's only women, who are basically, I think it's called time crossers. I'm not sure, something like that anyway, but they spend time in a minimum of 2 different timelines, but I know there's one book where there's 3. I think that's the sequel, but I could be wrong. Anyway, in this particular book it's only 2, and they basically essentially wake up one day in the timeline and then go to sleep and wake up in another timeline. But from what I've heard, it's not necessarily as straightforward as that. Like, they don't always spend one day each time or anything. Sometimes they could be spending more prolonged time in one timeline, and then one day they'll wake up in the other one. But I don't think time has passed or anything in that timeline. I could be wrong though. But yeah, it's basically about that. And in this one, this girl is called Libby, and she is in 1774 colonial Williamsburg and 1914 Gilded Age in New York City. So yeah, she basically has to choose which one she ends up living in, because she only has up until a certain age. So she has to be 21 in this. Yeah, 21st birthday she has to pick. So yeah. So that one I could use for several prompts for a scene as one. I could use it for a new author. I could use it for new series. I could use it for inner series. I could use it for historical, because obviously it is historical. I'm not quite sure. I thought when I initially picked out my books, I thought I knew what I wanted to use it for, but I don't anymore. Whoops. I'm probably going to use it. So the prompts I'm more likely to use it for is for new author or for historical. I won't use it for any of the others. Or I could use it for something. I'm not sure, okay, is the answer. I'm going to use it for something. Anyway, so the last yearly challenge that I'm taking part in is Santel's Year of Maud. That is to celebrate Lucy Maud Montgomery. And so obviously I'm going to use Anne of the Island. That is the next one. We're not just doing the Anne of Green Gables series, but we are doing that as well. but for the first 3 months it's the first 3 books, and then it's a different book by Ellen Montgomery. So yeah, I'll be reading that. No, I've just realised why I'm confused about prompts. Okay, so ignore me. So what I'm doing is slightly going back. I'll leave it all in though, just without the long thinking gaps. So I am doing Centuries Challenge and the Decades Challenge by Alma. And I think, which one is set? That. So the one I am doing for the Centuries, initially I said a match in the making because it's not written in the 19th century, but it's set during the 19th century. But I'm not using it for that one. What I'm using for that is a Georgette Heyer book. This is the Grand Sophie or Sophie, I don't know how you pronounce it. This is a Regency fiction, so it's set in the 19th century because it's the 1800s. And I am reading this for that. Not Gentuano. This, I think, is usually clean fiction. It's not Christian, but it's clean. Or at least the ones I've read are clean. So I assume they are all clean, but we'll find out. But I'm planning to read this. And that is for the Journey Through Time Centuries Challenge by Alma. Now, for the Christian fiction, that is romantic, I am going to use a match in the making. So instead of the Timeless series, okay, instead of this, I am going to use this. And this I am going to use for a new series, because this is book 1 in a series that I've not read. So it's new to me. So that's what I'm using this for. I'll know my brain in a minute. So that's what I'm using for that. And then that's, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna start backwards. I'm going to talk about my challenges. So, backwards, Year of Maud. We are on Anne of the Island, which is book 3 of the Anne of Green Gables series by Ellen Montgomery. That is the Year of Maud by Chantal. The next challenge is Oceana's Read Christian Romance, and that will be Gentuano's A Match in the Making, book 1 of The Matchmakers. And this is to fulfill the prompt, new series. For the Read Your Book Self Challenge by Chantal, we are doing the prompt Time for March, and I'm using The Ministry of Time by Colleen Bradley. I don't know names. So that's why I'm doing that. Okay. Then for the Journey Through Time challenge by Alma, for the decades, we are doing the 1930s, and I'm doing Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And for the centuries, and that is published, by the way, published in the 1930s. And for the centuries, I am doing a book that's set in the 19th century, and that is The Grand Sophie by Georgette Heyer, or Heyer, I never know. And then for the Princess Bride-a-thon, I'm not quite sure, jury's still out sort of thing, but I think I'll be using this, When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer, Timeless Series Book 1. And I could use this for any of them, but I think I'll use this for 5-star prediction or reader's choice. I might just do it for that. Yeah, so reader's choice and 5-star prediction, I'm probably going to use this for those. And then I have got Teresa's Cozy Reading Challenge, and that is to pick something off your TBR book stock, and that will be any of those that I have shown you. So there is middle grade March, and as I said before, I am not officially taking part in that challenge. It is set through the month though, but I can't remember all of the prompts, but there's only about 4 or 5, something like that. So one of them is to go for a author that has 3 names, because they're basing it off 2 books, which are an original and a retelling. So the original is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I've already read that though. But then there is a retelling called The Moon Garden, but I don't know who the author is. I'm not going to read either of those. You can, but you don't have to. But they are the basis for the prompts. So one of the prompts is to read from an author that has 2 names. No, 3 names, sorry, in their title. So obviously, I could use either of these, Louisa May Alcott or Ellen Montgomery. I'm not quite sure which. I might use Ellen Montgomery for that, but I don't know. They all obviously have to be middle grade. Now, this is what I was saying earlier. I'm not sure if these count as middle grade, because certainly the main characters, like the main women in the Little Women series, and Anne are all young adults/adults. But the stories, and certainly the previous ones, because I've not read Jo's Boys, but I have read Anne of the Island, they're not adult in that way. Not that there's like graphic or open door scenes in any of them, but in terms of like content and stuff like that, then they don't strike me as very adult. Like, it's not like reading Jane Eyre, where it's, I wouldn't necessarily say that's for kids, but I could definitely say that kids could probably read these. Certainly this one, again, I don't know about this one, but certainly from the previous 3 books, I would say they could. So I don't know if they actually count as middle grade. You'll have to let me know. But I'm using them anyway. So that is why I'm unofficially taking part, because I don't really know if they count as kids' books. So yeah. I'm using both of those. There's also the prompt flowers on the cover, and I could actually use either of these. There's some flowers there, but there's also flowers here. I'm gonna use Jo's Boys for the flowers, because there's obviously flowers on there. The next prompt was in the series, so again, both of these would work for that. And they said it could be the start of a series, within the series, the end of a series, whichever, it doesn't matter. So there's those. And I feel like there's another prompt, but I genuinely do not remember what the other prompt is. Oh, I remember. I think it's only 4, and I think the last prompt is a book that's written in the 1900s. And the one that's written in the 1900s, I think, is Anne of the Island. Let me just double check. Yeah, so Anne of the Island was first published in 1915, which is the 1900s. So I'll be using this for that prompt. So yeah, those are my kind of sort of inclusions in the middle grade March readathon. Let me know if they count, because I'm not sure if they count as middle grade. Like, they certainly did count, like especially Anna Green Gables. Like in the first book, Anna Green, she's like 10, 11 years old, so obviously a child. But Little Women, I'm not, again, they're slightly older, but then again, the youngest ones are like 12. So yeah, I'm going to count them. But let me know if you think they're not middle grade. Otherwise, whatever. I don't really mind. Because what I could do is use Joe's Boys for Teresa's TBR book stack, because I've added it onto my book stack. So, yeah. So yeah, those are all the books that I am planning to read. I might try and read other books on my Kindle, because it's really useful, as I've said before, at night. And I've been going through some of Melanie Cellier's fairy tale retellings, partly for the February readathon that Taylor from Tales and Treats with Tay is doing, but also because I'm really enjoying them. And they're all on Kindle Unlimited, and I want to try and get my money's worth out of that, because I am paying for that. So yeah, anyway, so there might be some extras, I don't know, maybe. So yes, I hope you enjoyed seeing what books I'm hoping to read next month. Let me know what you're planning to read. Are you taking part in middle grade March? If you are, do you know what you're reading? Are you going to take part in one of the two or both of the Secret Garden books / retelling? Any of the challenges that I'm doing, or a different one? Let me know what you're reading. And let me know how you're getting on so far in February for your February books that you're reading / challenges and readathons. I think my next video may be my wrap up. It depends, because I will be filming, I think, on the last day of February, so it still counts as February, maybe. So we'll see. Either way, it'll either be next week or the week after that I'll do my wrap up. So yeah, or for you, the next video after this one or the video after that. We will see. So yes, I hope you're all doing well. I am thinking I might try and read more of my Bible, just generally reading it. But March is a busy month book-wise, if you didn't notice. Because I'm a slow reader, it might take me a while. So we'll have to see. I don't know. But yes, I hope you're all doing well. And, God bless. And I will see you all next week. Bye.